Welcome to the FanMouth Fantasy Roundtable. I'm Erin here with Dave and Jeff, and as we head into Week 12, we're going to tell you who we picked at tight end. Jeff, who's your tight end this week?
Okay, well, we've talked about before how if you're not going to get Gronk or Graham, doesn't matter who you get pretty much. Find a good matchup, find a guy who's kind of hot, and I took Charles Clay. Charles Clay is coming off a 21-point game. He's pretty much near the minimum for as far as price goes. And I think it's a good matchup. Carolina, we actually talked about last week how Carolina kind of ignores the tight end unless I felt like they might pay attention to the elite ones, but when there's a mediocre tight end, they usually do pretty well.
Well, Carolina only doesn't pay attention to tight ends unless they're interfering with them in the end zone at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me started there. I would say this about Clay, that you referred to him as hot. I think the 3 games before last week, he had totaled 80 yards in receptions.
So. He had 8 targets 2 of those 3 games, though. I mean, a lot of it's about opportunity, and we've talked about that this week, about how as long as receivers are getting opportunities, that's giving them chances, and that's creating opportunities for fantasy points, of course. So I like that.
I think the talent's there. I only worry about him because I worry about this offense as a whole. I don't think it's a reliable offense. I mean, Tannehill's not very reliable in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, the whole offense is a bit shaky. Luckily, he's cheap, so I think it's the small opportunity makes his price worthwhile. But like I said, I don't question the player or the talent. I question the offense and that he might not get the opportunities.
That's fair, but good matchup, and even in his bad games, they're not awful. His 2 worst games, he put up 6 points, which Dave kind of mentioned those, but he had a lot of targets. But besides that, he's right around 8, 7, and then of course way above that, he's at 22, 21,
A lot of upside.
Okay, talk about high target guys. Kobe Fleener, the last 2 weeks, has been targeted 20 times. He's caught 12 passes in that stretch. And now he goes up against a defense that's allowed 9 touchdown passes to tight ends this year. 3 occasions they allowed 2 touchdowns to a tight end. It's a guy who's been targeted a lot, and with the Colts offense, losing a key wide receiver there has made him throw to the tight end more. And so I think it's a high volume guy against a terrible defense. I think it's a great matchup for a very low price.
For me, I do like the pick, but compared to Charles Clay, how could you? Charles Clay's averaging more points, is way cheaper, and what more do you need to know? It's a good matchup.
Well,
for Clay.
But I would go on recent form.
Okay, that's fair. When Reggie Wayne went down, Fleener had more success. I buy that. That's why I think it's a solid pick. But if, I guess it depends on how much money you have too. Tight end is not ever really a huge concern for me unless I'm getting Gronk or Graham. It's kind of, what do I have money for? If you have the 8,500, I think it is for Fleener, and might as well get him instead of Clay. It's going to be pretty comparable, so I can't blame you for that.
Yeah, I'm looking for some consistency there. I think against the Rams, he had 10 targets and only caught 4 of them. And then last week, he had another 10 targets. He caught 8. So, yeah, he improved. But 1 week of improvement, I kind of want to wait and see. I've waited for him all season. I had high expectations coming in. He has the relationship with Andrew Luck from Stanford. It seemed like it was going to be there, and I've been disappointed for a lot of the season. But maybe recently he's picked it up, especially with the opportunities. So
yeah, the chemistry has been a little disappointing, I think, especially last year and then the beginning of this year until Wayne went down. Fleener struggled with drops. I think he's completely overrated as far as his hands go. I've heard people talk about how he has good hands, and I'm apparently watching a different game.
Same.
But the interesting thing about Fleener is that he's in probably less of a platoon than any other position on that team. You've got the running backs mixing it up, and the receivers have been a mess. You're talking about splitting snaps a ton, and Fleener's kind of just the consistent guy. So that's got to be comfortable for Luck, knowing that Fleener's going to be on the field for that snap most likely, and Fleener's always going to be there.
Plus, in this matchup, and I mentioned this earlier, you got an Indianapolis team that doesn't run the ball well against Arizona's defense that defends against the run well. So it should be a game where Indianapolis throws the ball at least as much as usual, if not a lot more. And if Fleener's getting even more targets than he's gotten in recent weeks, so this could get kind of scary.
Donald Brown runs the ball well. It's just the problem is they give it to Trent Richardson, right? So
yeah, and I think Peterson will be covering Hilton. Should lock him down pretty well.
You do all right.
I think.
That's good for Fleener.
Right. So more to your point that
Absolutely.
Fleener should see plenty of opportunities if he can hold on to the ball, which has been my concern. But last week it was a little better. Thanks for tuning in. Those are our tight end picks for this week. Next up, we will talk about defense.